G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map. In the colour teal, playing as the Rus. We've got Corvinus 1. You know, we've got to do it just for old time's sake. You guys are going to miss it, so I've just got to throw it out here one last time. Oh, fat boy. We're going to miss you, fat boy. It's the man formerly known as Salami. How good it is to be able to zoom, ladies and gentlemen. And on the other side of the map, in the colour pink, playing as the English, we've got Kalp. Oh man, I tell you what, it is so nice to be able to zoom. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. There is some truth in that right there, and you got to be careful right now, Corvinus, unless you want to lose that scout early on. I think it's almost certainly going to happen here, unless he manages to get out by the skin of his teeth. He loses it 51 seconds into the game, and Corvinus 1, an incredibly good player, loses his scout. He's starting scout. Now, fortunately, he's playing the Rus, so it's not a super huge loss, right? Like, he can make more, but at the end of the day, it's still a pretty big loss. It's something that you don't want to be having. He didn't lose any sheep with it, but obviously he will potentially lose any sheep that he may have scouted out towards that south side, may have lost the wolf here, and of course, all that scouting information. But anyway, we move on, we move forward, and we'll take a little look at how he's doing over here, because you got to remember, whenever you're playing the Rus, sheep always seem to be so difficult, because you always want to be so greedy with your scouts, and you're out there, and you're killing wolves, and you're killing deer, and then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, where are my sheep? Oh, I don't have any at home, and now I'm poor. So we'll have to look to see whether Corvinus does that. Now, for anybody who doesn't know who Corvinus is, this is Salami. So the man who used to be known as Salami 1 changed his name over to Corvinus 1, and well, he's still the Wallalow god to me, we'll say that much. But of course, Kalp, this guy is also a content creator. I'll leave links in the description to where you can watch both of these guys live. They do like to stream on Twitch, so if you're interested in checking them out, go say g'day. But Kalp, a notoriously aggressive player. Whenever I've played against Kalp, he's always been in my face, been in my base. He loves to get aggressive, so I'm expecting that we're going to see aggression out from him today. I suspect we're probably going to see the Council Hall. Obviously, the most recent patch that came through. We didn't see too many changes to landmarks. There was a couple changes to the Delhi landmarks. That was about it. So we'll look to cast a couple Delhi games and see what we can spot out. But maybe the real difference can be felt in the Dome of the Faith now. So we'll have to have a look at that. Obviously, there was a change over to the Rus landmark as well, most notably militia. They don't last as long anymore. They don't have their siege damage the way that they used to. So there's a whole bunch of changes. But it looks like Salami is running very low on sheep over here. In fact, does he have any... Look, you can see he's got idle villagers. He's going to be throwing down the Kremlin now in the front of the base. Gets the stone, gets the gold. Nice little Kremlin spot here in the front as well. Always nice to be able to secure these resources and have it in the front of the base. Just because it gives you that little bit of extra leverage. Because you can think about it like from this perspective, right? Like, let's say if Corvinus spawned on this south spawn and he wants to throw down his Kremlin, he can put it right here in between the two resources, but it's on the back of the base, so it's not really going to get that much use compared to this one on the front. And of course, going up against the English with the Council Hall, you could expect that there's going to be some early aggression coming out early on. But over on the other side of the map, we do see that wheelbarrow coming through now for Corvinus. Be looking to boost up that economy. Obviously, he's got plenty of gold trickling through, just that 20 gold so far, but any of that extra gold that he gets from killing the Gaia out on the mini-map, or out on the map, rather. Now, we still don't have the option to see the Rus bounty in caster mode, so unfortunately, you know, there's still improvements that need to be made. I think I've made a list of about 45 improvements that need to be made, but we did get zoom back, so that is really good. So huge shout out to the devs for getting that bug fixed within a month. So that is wonderful. Not being facetious here either, even though I'm sure you could probably suspect I might be. I am not being facetious, but did he miss out? Oh no, he was very close to getting a double banger. You know, what I like to call the Bronze League mining camp. We didn't see it today, but you know, if you can get that mining camp in the middle of the two resources, chef's kiss. Second TC, going to be coming up for Corvinus 1. So going up against the... I say going up against an aggressive style from Kalp, but look at what Kalp's doing. Normally he plays really aggressive, and yet here what we see is early survival techniques, early wheelbarrow coming through, only the 3 villagers on the Council Hall, and 3 villagers on gold, which makes me think he's probably going to go into double broadaxe upon age up, and probably from there look to go into like your +1 ranged attack, +1 ranged armor, that sort of thing, and play it a little bit more of a slow-paced game. But I wonder, what wins if you're going 2 TC as a Rus? I feel like you should be able to hold it relatively well. Have we got a quick wall coming in? We might Unfortunately, not going to be able to find it, though. Cancelled it a little bit too late, and I think there was one segment that was missing up there, so not going to be able to get the quick wall. Very nice try there by Corvinus. I was going to call him Salami. It's still hard adjusting to his name, because in my mind, he's still Salami to me. He'll always be a piping hot salami, you know? I always wanted a piece of his salami, you could say that much. Sorry. But in all seriousness, he was always a gentleman and a scholar. But nice little sheep numbers back here as well for Cap. He's going to start off with a barracks, and we do indeed see the double broad axe coming through. So going for a really eco-focused build order here for Cap, or really eco-focused strategy, I guess we could say. Let's right on board, though, with Corvinus as he looks to defend this. Second TC will be coming up shortly. A lot of stone gathered up there, so maybe a little bit too much. He could be looking to go into arrow slits on something. Maybe he wants to go for like an arrow slits up here, but I mean, you'd probably just wall that off right against the English. Second TC on the back here, probably not the best spot. You could get it a lot more tight if you wanted to, but maybe he's saving space for farms. That could be the thinking about it. So we'll have to see exactly how he looks to play this one. But towards that front side, though, we do see Corvinus. I think he lost out that one scout. He's only got a single scout out there remaining. On the front side, the Kremlin going to be able to hold it down. We do see there's one unit garrisoned inside, so maybe that's the scout. Unfortunately, we can't see what's garrisoned inside because the UI doesn't tell us. But we do see that scout from Kaup coming out now. Now, Kaup is, as I mentioned before, a notoriously aggressive player. Has gone for that +1 ranged, or +1 lumber preservation. We don't see him going for the ranged attack just yet. But I would expect it, and I definitely wouldn't expect a second TC. I think that the only time you'll see a second TC from Kaup is when he ages up. That's pretty much it. He will spot out that second TC, though, from Corvinus on the backside. So he knows he's up against 2 TCs here. So he's got a number of options. But knowing Kaup, it's most likely just going to be he goes for battering rams. And the best way that he can do this is look to come in around this backside of the base and then begin to attack that second TC. That way you bypass the Kremlin. That way you bypass the main town center. The problem is, if you do that, you're going to expose yourself to potentially getting picked off, having those reinforcements taken out. So let's see if he actually looks to go for it, and if so, how he's going to be able to play it. Beginning to move straight away over towards that east side of the base. Let's check in. I'm looking for that blacksmith, and there's the blacksmith. Ranged armor, or ranged attack rather, going to be the first one coming through. Kind of surprising to me that he goes into this first and not into siege engineering, but I guess at this point you probably don't have the economy to support siege engineering, because realistically you can push this with 1 ram. You're going to have a bad time, though. It's probably ideal pushing with at least 2, preferably 3 rams. So he's just going to kind of hold it for the moment, and we do see a switch now into men-at-arms for Kaup. So really looking to switch up this English playstyle. Normally we don't see men-at-arms coming out until that critical mass of longbows is reached. Normally around 20, 25 longbows is maybe not that much, maybe 15 to 20 longbows. So he's still quite a way off that. When it comes to eco upgrades, no other eco upgrades either. So we'll watch from the perspective now of Corvinus and look to see how he plays it. One of the ways that I love defending against this is just through mass archers. A lot of people forget that longbows will lose to mass archers if there are more of them, because they can get on top of the enemy very quickly. And you can ignore the men-at-arms, that's the other thing, because while they've got a lot of health, they don't really do a lot of damage. Nice little wall comes through from Corvinus, though, so going to be able to block out Kaup from on this top side. The army comes up right on time, but fortunately, Corvinus not even going to be losing a villager here. Manages to get one away with 15 health. And of course, in this position, not going to be able to cut through anything like that, even though this wall here looks like... Oh my god, it's so nice being able to zoom in. Even though this wall here looks like it's not connecting or it's kind of broken, that's only because he's cancelled the pillar on it so that he didn't have to build the pillar as well. But now we do see that wooden fortress coming up. Might be able to go into that little bit of extra stone for arrow slits as well, just to help defend himself a little bit more on this top side. But the archer numbers starting to build up now. He's up to 2 archers. Goes into the knight as well. So a little bit late on units here, honestly, for Corvinus. I'm curious to see exactly what he did before that, or between that second TC and now, because there's a little bit that concerns me. I'll say that much. But now this wooden fortress comes up. No wall right here. This is where I would have expected to see another wall coming in, just to try and guide the enemy over towards this wooden fortress. But it looks like Kaup might just be taking out the trash here. Will come through. And now moves back over to the other side. So not looking to put pressure on towards this position, at least at the moment. Probably the wise move. I kind of like that, right? Like, you force the outpost out, its resources towards the enemy, and you're still buying time at the moment because you're massing up units, and you can see he's up to that 15 longbow number, and now starting to add in more men-at-arms. But by the same token, he can be looking for that siege engineering, which is exactly what he's doing. And he wasn't really ready for this siege engineering yet. We're only at the 10-minute mark so far, and you can see him starting to stack up those resources. But ideally, I'd want him to get over towards this position almost immediately. So let's see whether he does that. We can see him rallied at the moment, or rather moving out. Let's ride on board with Kalp. Looks like he might be beginning to put pressure on that Kremlin. I guess the other option that he's got is if he just goes for a landmark victory instead. Cute little outpost spot as well, behind the safety of that small forest. There's the first ram coming down. Second ram coming down. Expect to see a third ram coming down here. We'll switch it over to income so you can get a bit of an idea as to how these economies are stacking up. Of course, Corvinus going to be up by 12 villages for the moment. But will it hold? That's going to be the question. There's the third ram. Remember, we always want to be pushing with 3 rams. Just because 3 rams is obviously going to buy you 3 times the damage of the single ram, but the key is that you're only losing that same unit, right? If you've got 1 ram and you've got, say, 10 longbows, you're still going to be losing the same amount of longbows with 1 ram or 3 rams. So you're just basically getting triple the damage for the units that you're losing. So it's really important because you got to remember the Kremlin is going to be taking out these units as you try and bring them in under. You can see the range here on this Kremlin is absolutely crazy. We can't actually see the range for some reason. So I don't know how to draw that, but you can watch as the longbows do come in, because they will need to come under to defend against this the knights that will look to try and attack the battering rams here. But he's going to make his way through, beginning to attack the battering ram. Knights looking to try and connect. Rams move back, longbows come in, and you can see the Kremlin now firing down upon these. But remember, had this been 1 battering ram, then you're losing out on your damage, whereas because there's 3 battering rams, you're now getting that extra bit of damage in. Villagers should be pulled shortly from Corvinus, and it looks like they will be. Up to repair the front. Keep in mind, it's going to be wood that he's looking to repair on this Kremlin. Nice little hold so far. This is part of the reason why I was suggesting earlier, this is where you might want to just take it in on that back town center. Try and even it out a little bit. If we take a look at the army difference between these two guys, you're talking 37 military versus 28 at the moment. So the numbers are definitely in favor of Kalp. The only thing that's really holding him back right now is going to be this Kremlin. So if he's able to find a way past this Kremlin or through the Kremlin, then it makes it a lot easier. But as I said, my suggestion, come around here, look to try and attack the town center. Try and do it in one foul swoop. But doesn't look like he's going to fall for it at the moment. Outpost providing that extra little bit of attack speed for these units as they begin to make their way in. Bringing the torches out. He's committing 100% here. 5 battering rams looking to try and throw it down. Villagers jumping inside of the Kremlin. He's really committing hard. Longbows looking to tee off towards that backline. Men at arms together with the spears, doing a decent job. And now we see those militia being called from Corvinus. He says, bring them all, bring them right now. And they run up towards the front, trying to hold on. The archer numbers beginning to fall. At the same time, 23 archers for Corvinus, 24 for Kalp, and the first of the landmarks does go down. So he'll take that small victory and look to head back, look to regroup. But remember, the villager advantage is still heavily in favor of Corvinus. And while he may have bought himself a little bit of time, it's not going to be much compared to the fact that he's got all of these enemy villagers now starting to come online. Archer numbers really starting to build here for Corvinus as well on the defense. You can see just how many resources he's had to invest in these rams. His enemy has instead invested in archers, and you can see him just picking off all of these archers here. Even though it looks even 19 versus 15, you've got to remember a lot of these archers are back here, coming across the map still, and finally making their way across. The militia doing a really good job there, just tanking up the front line. And now you're left with a whole bunch of battering rams that you really can't do much with for the moment. So the question is, how do you go about playing this? Because from Kalp's perspective, there's 2 options. Number 1 is you can look to go castle, try and take advantage of what you've got, get to castle age and push in with an upgraded unit and try and finish off the enemy. Number 2, is that Kremlin already back up? Oh my lord, dude. Okay, so this was like my whole point, right? Like, you've realistically done what, like 400-500 woods worth of damage, where you could have taken out the TC. And it's kind of hard to build a TC because it takes stone, and you got to get wood and all that other stuff. And it's like, where do I build the TC? There's so many decisions that need to be made. But it definitely, it's hard to justify going for this Kremlin, at least for me. So it looks like Kalp is going to do what you would expect him to do. He's going to double down. He says, we're going to take the second option, Drongo. We're not going to go castle age, at least not yet. We will think about it. It's still, interestingly, no horticulture, despite having 16 vills on food. So this is a great time to pick up horticulture, especially floating that little bit of gold. But he could be looking to go, I mean, he's still got 3 vills on gold. He's kept these 3 vills on gold the entirety of this game. Look at it. How many arrows do you have? Why do you have so many arrows? Is that bugged? Did you see that? Oh, no, the UI's got to be bugged, right? There's no way there's 0 units in that. Did you see that? Is that actual bug? I think it might actually be bugged. How many units does he have? 34 and 4. 33 and 4. There's the 34th. There's nothing inside it. He's got 66 villagers right now. I think it's actually broken. Oh my god, I think there's a game-breaking Kremlin bug. Look at this. It has all of the bow attacks. So after the Kremlin gets killed, oh my god, this is actually gonna get hot fixed. Okay, but now they jump inside. Do they reset it? Oh my god, that's unironically gonna get fixed. Yeah, okay, look. He put them inside and he fixed it. So that, maybe, I don't know, maybe they had a chat in the game, but you can see that now it only has the 1 attack. Oh my god, that was actually game-breaking. Did you see the arrows it was firing out right there? I mean, I'm going to sell this video to you guys as a game-breaking bug, but unironically, this will get fixed. I mean, how do you even go about... I wonder how reproducible that bug is, right? It seems pretty simple, right? Put 8 units in the Kremlin. When the Kremlin dies, repair the Kremlin, and when it comes back up, it will pretend like those 8 units are still inside it, and then it will still have the 8 arrows, even though there's nothing inside. That's essentially it. All right, well, another patch and another bug comes through. That is a new one, that is for sure. But now, the battering rams looking to try and take down that Kremlin. Not going to be able to find success here as the knight numbers are looking really good. And Corvinus, with the defense, he's managed to scrounge together more population, at least military population, than his opponent, despite having a couple of knights in the mix here as well. And finally able to fall back towards that extra little bit of attack speed coming through. Nice little buff right there. But unfortunately, the archer number's way too big from Corvinus at this point. He's really going to have to hold on for dear life. I feel like he's got to go castle age here. He just can't keep fighting, not in this position. He needs to go castle because he needs to try and match the economy. So go castle, look to pick up relics. I don't know, man. Is it even possible? Can you even do that from this position up against 2TC Rus? I feel like 2TC Rus is just another beast, man. Wow, look at the way the lighting changes. Can you guys see that? I'm sure you can see that. The kind of lighting moves up across my screen. That's a bit weird, isn't it? A bit strange. A little bit strange. So archer number's looking really good here for Corvinus. So he's probably in the clear as well. Normally in this position, though, you wouldn't look to age up until your enemy has aged up just to be safe. So we'll see exactly how he goes about it. Battering ram's going to be moving forward. Not going to be able to do too much back there, but the knight number's looking really solid here. Keep in mind, he's able to snipe out these knights very effectively because he's got that extra 1 damage as a longbow compared to an archer. But still with pretty decent micro, he should be able to kite the majority of this away. You can see that the numbers aren't in his favor, but that's for the moment. They will continue to be in his favor as he kites back because he's got that extra little bit of movement speed on the retreat. Managing to bring the battering rams, trying to draw away that fire from the archers, but Corvinus doing a really good job of making sure he's just focusing down all the enemy longbows. Continuing to come back, we'll be looking to pick up that defender's advantage. Remember, the further away you get from the enemy base, the further that these archers actually have to run to kill your units. Meanwhile, the closer your units have to be. So there's this little bit of a to and fro, a little bit of a seesawing of armies that was very, very well documented right there. But now we enter a really hard part of this game because Kalp's got to assess this and say, okay, how do I get back into this game? I see one way back in for Kalp here. He needs to go castle and he needs to throw down 4 stables and just make a whole bunch of knights and just hope that he can take his enemy by surprise. That's pretty much it. And you got to try and raid and raid and raid. The problem that you're going to have is you're up against Salami and you're on Hillendale. Hillendale, of course, very easy to wall this off. So if I get even an inkling that my enemy is going to be looking to raid me, well, I just wall it off the same way that this has already been walled off, and it's not going to happen. So that could be a bit of an issue. But looking at what Kalp's doing, though, that's not going to be the plan. In fact, the plan is just going to be to stick to feudal age at the moment. This man is going absolutely crazy. 19 minutes in, still feudal, still committing to longbows. How long is it going to be able to hold out? Let's check in with Corvinus and see how he's doing, though. Plenty of farms coming up. So the farm transition is well and truly established. Meanwhile, towards the front, the knight numbers are beginning to build, and Kalp just playing a classic English style of longbow only. I think this was popularized by Demu back in the day, where they only made longbows. 19 minutes in, he says, you know what, we don't need spears. We don't need spears. We make spears, they're just going to get killed by the archers. What's the point? And that's a good point. That's a good point. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're losing out a lot of units here. But the micro is really solid. But look at the numbers now from Corvinus. Really solid numbers as well from him. almost, he's got 40 archers. And now the numbers really begin to dwindle. He's got half. Corvinus, double the amount that Kaup has got. We'll lose access to that wood on the front. And now Corvinus could look to go into a potential siege engineering. Let's double check and see whether he's picked it up just yet. Doesn't look like it. Instead, he's going to be going for Castle Age. Makes a lot of sense here. Can look for veterancy. Can look for +2. Can, of course, look to pick up these relics. I'm curious what direction he looks to go for with regard to his landmarks. I would suspect he probably goes for the Abbey of the Trinity. It's going to be the High Trade House. Okay, looking to throw it down in the back here. Really nice position, actually. I'm impressed with this. Gets coverage on the Stealth Forest, on the Small Forest, and as well on that Big Forest. About as good as you could ask for on a map like this. I tell you what, this map used to be a little bit scuffed back in the day with regard to spawns, like wood. But this one seems to be pretty good. I mean, you've got like this kind of weird little spawn where the wood connects to the wall, but it seems pretty even, pretty balanced. And as long as it's got that main avenue through the middle, I think players are pretty happy with that. As long as there's that straight way to get to your enemy. That's what's important. Kaup still, though, sitting quite a bit behind on that villager count. Literally half the villager amount of his enemy. And I think it's at this point you really got to throw those Hail Marys. That's the only way that you can kind of come back into this game. It's through a Hail Mary. And now Corvinus with the age up. Throwing down archery ranges immediately. Looking for veterancy on his knights. Looking to pick up his tier 1 food gathering. He obviously hadn't picked it up before and was like, oh, that's awkward. For some reason, didn't go for boars either. There are boars. Where was the other boar? He probably picked it up on the top side of the map, but didn't take this second one. Did he scout this one out? Yeah, he scouted it out. Weird. Interesting that he's gone into that. And because normally you'd see them go into the survival techniques, but he's obviously not bothered with it. But a whole bunch of veterancies coming through now. No +2 ranged attack or +2 ranged armor just yet, which you'd normally expect when you've got an archer ball like that. And now Kaup looking for the age up, knows he needs to get behind it as well. Knowing Kaup, I reckon he doesn't even go for the TC here. He is a 1 TC Giga Chad. He's like, if I can't beat him with 1 TC, I don't deserve to win. He really does the 1 TC challenge. It's gotta be. No, he did the King's Palace. Look at that. All right, so this is you. You're 52 villagers behind, 22 minutes in. It's surprisingly not going to take that long for you to catch up to your enemy, just mainly because they'll reach their villager cap of about 130, and they'll stop making villagers, and then you're catching up to at a time. The problem is, you're going to be down 60 villagers while that's happening, and that's not a fun place to be. King's Palace coming up. He's going to need to make sure he hits these upgrades immediately. Wants to pick up this veteran longbow upgrade. Militia now diving in underneath the town center. Another 13 seconds left on it. Villagers running for dear life right now. Kaup ages up. Needs to hit the veterancy on the longbows. Has to hit it immediately. Where is it? Where is it, Kaup? You got to hit it now. There it is. Finally coming through. 27 seconds to go. If he's able to make it to these walls, he should be okay. The knights, with their upgrades, looking to try and dish out the damage, but if the walls come through, which they will, he should be able to hold from this pocket. Veterancy on the way. Another 15 seconds or so to go. Could be down to 10. Indeed it is. And from this back little wall, he's actually got a great way to hold. Needs to make sure he changes his formation. Gets that line formation out so he's got a little bit more of a concave. And now beginning to siege down the TC. He's got a long way to go. But the archer numbers aren't going to be improving for the moment. You can see him trying to rally towards this front position. Not going to have too much luck. And now inside the base, Kaup looking to outrun his opponent. Picking off those knights one by one. Remember, you get that +2 range upgrade. +2 range attack upgrade with your age up. Or rather, let me rephrase that. You get an extra 2 attack with veterancy. That's what I wanted to say. But the numbers just continuing to dwindle here. He's going to throw farms down around this King's Palace. Really not having a good time as the English when you're throwing farms around a King's Palace like this. Role-playing other civilizations, and wow. This is a bit of a tough one. Now, Kaup, I mean, many other players in this position would look to resign, but Kaup is not that kind of guy. Kaup reminds me a little bit of Beastie in that regard. Always looking to make sure that there is no way back into this game for himself. Wants to be 100% certain. Because in my mind, there's still a way back into this game. And it's got to be knights, right? It's the one Hail Mary that you've always got. It is, 3 knights getting into the enemy base and they're not prepared for it or they're not paying attention to it. And all of a sudden, they come back and, oh, look at that. 24 villagers or 21 villagers killed. So your enemy's down from 121 to 100 villagers. So there's only 43 villagers difference instead of 64 villagers difference. we're gonna need a couple more gold mines, guys. We're gonna need to kill a few more vills. That's a big difference, isn't it? Like, when you think about it, like, more than double at this point. He's got the second TC, but it just shows you the power of that second TC and the safety that it gives him, because realistically, if you can't take out that second TC, it's just going to give value the whole game. And I think that really just takes me back to that first question that we had. We saw the units come around the top side, siege the wall, leave it. Then they moved back over towards the middle, and they built their rams down here. Instead of coming around, I really felt like he could have brought them in underneath and just committed with one big attack, kill the TC. Yeah, you lose a couple units, but behind that, you can probably look to do more damage. You don't have to go all in either. 193 on this one, not too bad. How much is it from the original? Where was the original hunting cabin? Here it was, 23. It went from 20 to 23. Bro, that's not a feels good. It really only went to 23 a minute. That doesn't feel good at all. Battering rams now coming down in the middle. Corvinus picking up the relics. Has taken 3 already this game. We see that 4th one going to be coming in shortly. It's a 5th one down here towards the south. We're looking to pick that up as well. And now the rams begin to build in the center of the map. 4th ram, 5th ram being thrown down. Nice little safe position that he's got back here, Corvinus. Or rather, Cap. But I don't know how much it's going to really matter as the game goes on, because this is the point we were talking about, right? So 200 out of 200, your maximum population, your enemies sitting at 116, you're having a great time. But you're not making any villages. They are, so they're catching up. So this is where you have to kill them. It's not that you have to kill them, but you have to start at least trading with them. You have to start utilizing it. I mean, there's lots of different things that you could do, right? Like, you can go Imperial from here. That's an option for you. You can... I think the biggest thing is just go and trade with them, right? Like, go send all your units in. Now, apologies if you can hear. I'm still a little bit sick. I've been sick for 4 weeks. I'm not even kidding you. It's been a tough time. I said I'll cast some games once I'm better. I'm still not better, but we got to cast games anyway. But now, pushing through. Calp looking to try and defend up against this huge mass of knights together with the archers. The rams on the backside looking to come through as well. But unfortunately, oh my lord, that's a lot of villagers. He's got 800 stone in the bank. It's not going to be enough, though. He needs more stone than that. He needs 900 stone now. They changed it. They changed the keep. You're gonna have to buy more stone. Go on, Corvinus, back to the drawing board. Look at him really pulling through. How many vills does he have right here? Oh, he's putting the Spaskaya tower down. He doesn't need any stone, Drongo, you Drongo. He's got all the stone that he needs right there. That's a little bit cheeky, though, isn't it? Putting that down in someone else's base. This is the ultimate BM move. I mean, we've had 2 thumbnail moments. Oh, he doesn't even let him get it off. He says, it's not happening, mate. It is not happening, mate. Wow. Okay, well, there you guys go. If you've enjoyed this game, make sure you check out these 2 players. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch them live over on Twitch. If you've made it to the end of the video, please leave a like, because it really helps out the channel, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.